Hey there, and welcome to my lazy review of the newest MCU film, and I've lost track at this point how many MCU projects there freaking are, but it's the third solo Ant-Man film, and it's Ant-Man 3, but technically it's Ant-Man the Wasp, Quantumania, but whatever, it just, I like Evangeline Lilly, she's beautiful, I like the character of the Wasp, I like Hope, they're great characters, but it did feel kind of weird for the sequel to make it Ant-Man and the Wasp, like, why take the main character and have him, piggyback his own film, like take back seat, like, I always felt like the second film, you could have just took Scott out of it and nobody would have cared. So, but anyway, before I pour this, I bought this thing, Svedka. It's cherry limeade. Let's check it out.
I'm an alcoholic.
The Ant-Man films are strange. Peyton Reed came back to direct this, and I think the first one is fun for what it is. It's a low-key Marvel film. It's not great, but it's not bad. It's just kind of like a good popcorn flick. The second one definitely is totally forgettable. I mean, it is what it is. So this one now officially is, I guess, starting off Phase 5 because nobody is ever going to miss the dog shit that was Phase 4.
It was terrible.
Yeah, also, this just came out, I'm not sure, Dr. Pepper, zero sugar, of course, strawberries and cream. I had one can, it's fucking delicious, but will this go good with cherry limeade vodka? I'm not sure, but let's find out, all right? Before I tell you about this movie, was it good? Was it bad? Is it just another MCU project? Let's find out, but let's try this, okay? You ready? Yeah.
It tastes so good.
Okay, so yeah, let's just talk about this. Ant-Man 3. Should you go see it? Would I recommend it? Is the MCU dead? Is there any life left? Is Kang, as you can tell by the trailers, is he a good villain we're talking about? Let's find out. Let's start drinking this, and as always, enjoy my intro. Okay, so we start off that some time has passed since the events of, obviously, Endgame, and now Scott Lang, he's an Avenger. They keep the comedy pretty much the same as the first two films. In the opening 20 minutes where it's like, you see it in the trailer, hey look, there's Spider-Man, like, yeah, it's, I'm Ant-Man and nobody really cares about me.
Thank you, Spider-Man!
But it sucks because, as his premise, he is a great character. Like, you've seen it in Civil War where he is small enough where he could get into Tony's suit and disable his suit. He would never beat Steve Rogers in a one-on-one fight, but he could beat him in terms of getting very small while keeping his strength and also growing to be 30 feet tall. They're not sure what to do with Ant-Man, okay? So it's the running joke of, this guy's pretty powerful, but he's just, no one cares. They're too busy looking at the other more popular Avengers.
Can't believe you're not still popular.
The plot right now is, if you watch the second film, obviously 30 some odd years passed by that Janet went missing, and then they had to rescue Janet in the quantum realm. I guess details don't matter because when you're talking about time travel and the quantum stuff going on, why did, 30 years out here not be like 5 minutes or 5 seconds for her? And she would have looked exactly the same and not aged up, but okay, I guess it's just whatever, don't think about it.
Details matter.
Because going into Endgame, Scott's daughter had to be aged up since 5 years passed by because he was stuck in a quantum realm. She was busy hanging out with Hank and everything, and she's a genius in her own right because, of course, she is. And she finds a way to make this basically like a two-way radio to the quantum realm. And, of course, Janet, who spent 30 years down the quantum realm, is like, no, turn this shit off. You don't understand what's going on. And then bad things happen.
You're sending a signal down to the quantum realm. Turn it off. Now!
Now, I do have to talk about the good, and I will, praise this much that the quantum realm, kudos to these guys. The CGI looks fantastic. The set pieces look very good. It doesn't feel like some carbon copy of like San Francisco or New York City. It is its own different world. So I did like that. In terms of like Hank, Hank and Janet, come on, Michael Douglas is in his 70s now. Michelle Pfeiffer is in her 60s. And you always worry about these older characters that they'll be useless and worthless. And no, Michael Douglas has one cool badass moment. Janet has a couple cool badass moments, and it's just the whole unraveling of like, well, you told us, Mom, coming from Wasp there and Hope, that nothing was down here, nothing was going on, and apparently she was on quite a few adventures for the past 30 years. Janet damn sure is more than meets the eye.
There's actually more there than meets the eye.
Yeah, I mean, the plot is pretty basic. Where just, they want to get out of the quantum realm and go back home. And as simple as that. There's not much more I can say about it. I'll talk about him real quick because you'll see it in the trailer. A lot of people love the character of MODOK, and MODOK is definitely in the film. I don't know if hardcore comic book fans will like the interpretation of MODOK. He was there. He was okay. Had some comic relief as MODOK would do. And who knows if we'll ever see him again, but it was okay. But the big question and the big reveal is Kang.
I'm the man who can give you the one thing you want.
We already saw the same actor play him in the Loki show, which was fucking terrible. And I do like this actor. I think Jonathan Myers is his name. I'll look it up later, but he does a very good job acting as Kang, and I would dare say that he could be the best part of the film. The one thing I have to say against him, though, is that if this is building up the whole Phase 5, and damn sure this is building up towards with Doctor Strange 2 and Loki and now this movie, the whole multiverse, because multiverses, yeah, that always goes down so fucking well. So Kang, you know, he does a good job for what he's given in the material. But, you know, if he's the new big bad, I feel like he's kind of lacking, because it's like, how do you get somebody in something better than Thanos? How do you get something as strong as the Infinity Saga and the Infinity Gauntlet? So far, what I've seen from Kang in this film, I don't see him replacing Thanos at all. He's not as good.
You are a lesser son of greater science.
And yeah, I seen someone else mention this to Aquaman. I talked about this in my Critical Drinker group, that someone's like, how could you compare this to Aquaman? Aquaman, love it or hate it, the final fucking third act is this big, massive battle sequence, and that's basically what happens in Ant-Man 3. Now, the first two Ant-Man films were like, you know, basically a loser, blue-collar guy that went to jail, guy that nobody really likes, and, holy shit.
We're basically the same.
One difference is I'd have, like, you know, some guy give me a fucking cool-ass Ant-Man suit, but, you know, the first two films are very self-contained. It doesn't feel like it's too much setting up the whole bigger MCU universe, and it feels like now Ant-Man 3, we have a huge ensemble cast. You have a lot more people than, you know, Scott Lang, and Scott Lang is not in the film as much as he was in the first two films, because you have so many new side characters and side stuff going on, inside components, and it's on this big more larger scale of battles and stuff and battle sequences, and it's a good popcorn flick. I'm not going to debate that, but if you like the tone of the first two Ant-Man films, you wouldn't like this one as much, because it's a lot more grander now. And it feels like this is kind of like the film that they're using to set up the whole new phase, and I don't know if it works as much. So overall, I would say that Ant-Man 3, much like the first two Ant-Man films, I think is not a bad film. It's not nowhere near as terrible as Phase 4, because that shit was horrible, but it's not a great, memorable film as well. It's one of the films where, you know what, I would not be in a rush to watch this again anytime soon. This is something I would call, again, a matinee film. You know, catch a matinee, or in my area, Tuesdays Regal has half-off films, so, you know, spend $5 or $6 to get a ticket. And that's pretty much it. It's one of the films where didn't hate it, didn't love it. It was an okay popcorn flick. Pretty forgettable. You know, it's like my sex life, you know. There's a lot of build up, a lot of hype, and then when you do it, you're utterly disappointed.
Worst sex I think I've ever had.
Ant-Man 3, hope you liked my laser review. As I always do, I have to check my watch because I'm always freaking busy. Get ready to edit because I have to edit this stuff for you guys. And yeah, let's just, before I pull out Bender, let me talk about my job real quick.
I hate my job.
And then let's finish this and get my drunken robot buddy. Okay, I'll see you later.
This calls for a drink.
That is pretty good limeade vodka. Now, in terms of my job, I have to head back to work.